I grew up in Guelph, Ontario. I was a Suzuki student, so I learned classical violin first. But my parents were folky children's entertainers, sort of in the heyday of folky children's entertainers. So they were in the same generation as like Eric Nagler and Fred Penner and Sharon Lois and Bram. So I always had this kind of folk music upbringing. I started fiddling pretty seriously when I moved to Toronto for school. I met a friend of mine who studied very intensively with Oliver Schroer, and I learned a lot about fiddle style and chording and stuff from her. So that's where I became a fiddler and had developed my own voice in fiddle music. A couple years later, I went to a contra dance in Toronto, and there was this band playing, and it was just these two guys, a guitar player and a fiddler, and the fiddler had actually this exact violin and a whole bunch of effects pedals and loopers, and it was like the coolest thing I ever heard. Like live techno music, but folky. And I thought it was really amazing. I moved to the Yukon and I was away from my band, and I was having a hard time finding other people who wanted to play the same kind of music that I did. So I thought to myself, hey, why don't I try that looping thing? So I bought a looper and I got this violin and just kind of started messing around and seeing what happens. One of the great things about traditional music is that it tends to be pretty simple and repetitive, so that's great for working with a looper. I would start by recording the tune, if it was a fiddle tune, and I would just kind of play around with it for a while until something came out that I thought sounded pretty cool. I think the thing I like most about fiddle music is the grooviness of it. Classical music is kind of more about like tone and accuracy and perfection, which is like totally great too, but fiddle music is really groovy and rhythmic and it makes you dance, and that's what I like. I'm wading deep waters, trying to get